This tutorial will guide you in configuring your trading strategies using Strategy Genesis. Strategy Genesis is a visual strategy builder integrated within TradingView. It enables you to combine various elements of market information and transform them into automated trading signals. No coding is required. Click here to open the indicator menu. Click this to view the list of invite-only indicators available to you. You should be able to see Strategy Genesis. Depending on your subscription plan, what you have might be different. The Lite version offers traders to use two sources of information to customize into a strategy, whereas the Pro version allows much more choices of customization. Click once to add it in your chart. Open up the Settings menu here. You need to input the master token here in order for ChartsConnect to receive the signals correctly. Let's skip this for now and proceed to create our strategy. Here we need to select our source for the strategy. A source is simply a piece of information coming from the market. It could be anything the chart is telling us. For example, RSI price level, a buy or sell signal from an indicator, a moving average value, or the moment an indicator changes trend. All of these are sources of information. Click here to add the indicators. For this example, I am going to add a Hull Suite indicator, EMA, ADX, and the closing price as my source information. These are the information I want to consider for my strategy. Go ahead and add the indicators in the chart. Customize the settings in your respective indicators before you proceed. We now add the sources into Strategy Genesis. A source is simply a piece of information coming from the market. It could be anything the chart is telling us. For example, RSI price level, a buy or sell signal from an indicator, a moving average value, or the moment an indicator changes trend. All of these are sources of information. Now let me show you how to add the sources. First, click to activate the source. Put in a reference for you to identify this. I name my source 1, Hull Buy. Next, from the drop-down list, find the specific piece of information you want. For the indicator Hull Suite, I want to take the point when the trend changes. Therefore, I choose from the drop-down menu, Hull Suite Trending Up. Sometimes it takes some trial and error to find the information to map it to Strategy Genesis. One thing to note is to remember the source number and the information you chose. You can reference the source number and the information from the top right corner. Next, I want the ADX. I indicate on source 2 that the info is ADX and select it from the drop-down menu. Next source, I want to add the EMA line. I have already preset the EMA line to have length of 50 in the EMA indicator, so I type in EMA as source 3 and chose EMA from the drop-down accordingly. Finally, I want to take in the price of the closing candle. Here I put the reference as close and select close from the drop-down. At the top right-hand corner, make sure that all the sources are connected. Once we have the information, we need to define what condition must happen before we receive a trigger. That condition is called a rule. There are two types of rules, one source rule and two sources rules. The one source rule utilizes information from a single source, such as an RSI above 50, or the appearance of an indicator's signal. In contrast, a two-source rule compares two distinct pieces of source information. For instance, when the closing price is above the EMA, the two information required here is price and EMA. For this example, first I want to see the Hull trending up to consider a buy. That was the source information I selected in source 1. So the rule is that this condition must be true. By default, the value for true is equals 1. Since there is only one source information, we set this rule under one source, rule 1. So it will look like this. Source 1 is equal to 1. Next, for the entry to be valid, I want to ensure the ADX to be above 20. This again only has one source information, which is ADX. This becomes once source, rule number 2. One more condition that must be fulfilled before the entry is valid is that the candle must close above the EMA. In this condition, there are two pieces of information, the closing price and the EMA. Therefore, we put this rule under two source, rule 1. And this is how it will look like. Source 4, which is closing price above source 3, EMA. Once you are done configuring the rules, click OK. The buy and sell signals should appear after you define the rules. Check and make sure the entries are correct. You can change the charts after you define the rules to see which asset works better with your strategy. Once all the settings is done, go to the correct time frame you want the strategy to be applied on. Once you have confirmed the time frame of the chart and the entry strategy, get the master token from ChartsConnect and paste it here. You can get it from ChartsConnect dashboard under Create New Automation in Advanced mode. Now we need to set the alert when the entry confluences meet. Click on the 3 dots here. Click this option to open up the Alerts panel. Click here to change the alert message. Double-click here to edit. It is good practice to name the alert with your strategy, time frame, and asset so you know very quickly which strategy was triggered. Click here to input the webhook. Change the webhook to this address. This is an important step for the alerts to be routed to ChartsConnect. You have just created your custom strategy. Next step is to connect this strategy across to your MT5 for trade execution. You can follow the steps under Create New Automation in Advanced mode to do it.